What is going on, everyone? It's Mr. Uzi here, and today we're taking a look at something a little bit different that we haven't really done on the channel before, and that is going to be this mechanical keyboard right here. This is the Aukey mechanical keyboard, and this will be the center of the video today. So I figured it was finally time to hunker down and buy myself a mechanical keyboard. I mentioned this in my setup video I did probably a couple years ago, saying that my keyboard was really old, needs to be replaced, and I did. I picked this up during Prime Day, and I haven't looked back since, but let's talk a little bit more about that. So this is a mechanical keyboard. It is not going to be using your typical Cherry MX switches. It is going to be using Okemiri blue switches, because this is a blue switch keyboard. Now, as far as knowing and feeling and how quality these switches are, I can't really compare them to Cherry MX blues in any sort of fashion because I haven't used them extensively, maybe a couple keystrokes on a Cherry MX keyboard. But from what I've been able to discern from using this keyboard specifically, the keys, while clicky, are definitely responsive, and it definitely feels like what people are saying blues should feel like and what they sound like. Now, being a membrane keyboard user for the longest time, having this very clicky noise on all of the keys definitely threw me for a loop, but after typing with it for probably almost a month now, it starts to you get used to it. You start to notice that the click is there, but it's not as jarring as it was when I first used the keyboard. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned, and one thing you may have been able to notice from the video already, is this is a LED keyboard. Now, I have it showing blue right now, but this is a fully RGB keyboard. Now, we're not going to really have the same level or granularity of customization as something like the Corsair series or a lot of other mechanical keyboards that feature software-based RGB programming, but this is a fully customizable keyboard nonetheless. Now, there are a lot of places saying that this keyboard is not programmable, you can't set the individual keys, but when I took a look at the actual manual, there is a macro function which lets you record different keystrokes and settings to your liking. So if we want to roll through this really fast, there are a bunch of colors preset. You can't really determine how much red, green, and blue show up in the actual lighting on the keyboard, but you can go through the function key and cycle through some of the colors using function M2, red, blue, green, yellow, lighter blue, purple. And then if you do function M1, it goes through the different modes. So this would be what I think they consider the FPS mode, where it just kind of lights up your WASD keys. Cycle through it again, it goes through kind of a breathing effect going through all the colors. Cycle it again, turns it off, and then it has another breathing effect, and I think there's one more, where it runs through all of the keys with the color that you determined previously, which you can just change like so. And it'll change the colors. Now it's a rainbow effect, and then it goes back. There are a lot of modes, and even then, on top of these function modes that they have on M1 and M2, they also have function modes on top of the number keys. So let's try and use two hands here. For function 1, goes back to the FPS mode. Function 2, not sure what CF stands for or what COD stands for. I hope that doesn't stand for Call of Duty. This is for League of Legends. And then this is for racing. So if you can see up in this top corner, a lot of the keys are changing colors and a little bit of their pattern as well. This keyboard, if you're looking at it already, and you can notice that it's a very simple keyboard in nature. It's your normal 104 keys, has all of your media controls on the top with all of the regular function keys, your F1 through 12s, and then print screen and all that good stuff on the side. Now, there are some things that I do want to note. When it comes to build quality, I wasn't expecting them to put an aluminum kind of plate on the front of the keyboard, which actually makes it extremely rigid. Like, if you really wanted to try and break this thing, you'd have a tough time doing it. This aluminum plate actually helps with the rigidity. A couple complaints that I do have with the keyboard, the font's a little weird. Looking at a lot of the keys, your normal A, B, C, D, E, F, G, things like A, Shift, Caps Lock, even the arrow keys have this weird, like, stereotypical gamer look keyboard branding for the keys and the font, and it doesn't really affect the typing experience. Half the time I'm not really looking down at the keyboard anyway, but that was one of the first things that I noticed when I took the keyboard out of the box, is that the font on the keys definitely looked a lot weirder than your average keyboard. But again, if you don't really look at it, it's not really that big of an issue. Overall, I think this is a really solid keyboard. Build quality is amazing. For the price that you can pick it up at for a fully RGB mechanical keyboard, with the build quality that it has, it's definitely something to take a look at. Of course, there are going to be better keyboards that offer more features. There are going to be things like USB pass-through. There are going to be things like cable routing on the back. As you can see, there's only 2 feet and some rubber pads to help with grip. And that's really about it when it comes to this keyboard. You can program the RGB. It's going to take a little bit of playing around with because the manual is not really written well enough to have the average person be able to find all of the features, but spending enough time cycling through the function keys and cycling through the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with function as well, you'll definitely find something that you're going to like, and you're definitely going to find something that will match with your setup because of the whole RGB theme. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the keyboard. Now, I've never really done a review of a keyboard before. Hopefully I can do more of these in the future, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, found it useful. I will go ahead and leave a link to this keyboard where you can find it on Amazon down below in the description. If you found this video useful, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you found it not useful, be sure to hit that thumbs down button as well. Leave a comment down below if you have this keyboard specifically, and if you picked it up during Prime Day when it was only $50. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.